Talk about Pax Journey Home. This is actually the second book from Pax, which I absolutely love. Pax is like the best-selling. It's really good. It's won a lot of awards, and I get why. Pax is just great. So, if you haven't read the first book, for people who have not read the first book, I advise you really to read the first book if you haven't read the first one, okay? Because the second one is like, without the first one, well, still you would understand a lot of it, but the first one really helps you understand. So, I advise that people should read the first one. So, you might not know of, okay, you guys will still know, okay? But still, you might not get the full picture, so you should read the first one, okay? Even though if you just read the second one, it's still okay. Actually, it's still a good book, and you'll enjoy it fully. And let me tell you, the second book is also one of my all-time favorite books. So I hope that you enjoy it. Okay, so before we do that, there is a fox with another little fox. If you guys have read Pax, then what did you think about this? And what did you infer? What did you guess from that, okay? Okay, but anyway, chapter 1. How would you describe Pax? And how would you describe Bristle? So you should have read all the chapters all the way to 1 to 11. Okay, guys? So 1 to 11. Yeah, but anyway, 1 to 11, chapters 1 to 11. So you guys should have read all the way to. So even if it doesn't really talk a lot about Bristle, how would you describe her from how you looked at it? But really, I advise you to read the first one. There are a lot of Bristle comes up more often, and you really get Bristle. And okay, but anyway. How do you think that Pax and Bristle felt about the kids? If you have been Pax, would you have been excited or would you have been nervous? Peter. Okay, so for the people who really haven't read Pax, I just want to let you know that I have read Pax 3 times now. It's the second or third time. Yeah, I think it was my third time. Yeah, I read the Pax 3 times. So I just wanted to say, please read Pax, okay? Because I'm going to ask some questions that only people who have read Pax would know. If you haven't read the first book, then I'll just say that I'll just say some questions that you won't understand, so you can just skip them, okay? But still, I will try to make it so that everyone will at least get to participate at least a lot of times, okay? But anyway, I do have a book club for Pax. But anyway, let's go. How has Peter changed from the story Pax all the way to here? And also, okay, but for people who haven't read Pax, then how would you describe Peter? And what do you think about Peter's train of thought on how that he should have just killed Pax? What do you think about that? And if you had been Peter, would you have thought the same thing, or would you have just been happy that you had your fox? And also, he had begun to think something, right? He was trying to think something and think about like the the sequence that he keeps on thinking. He was trying to reprogram his brain sort of so that he wouldn't be sad. Do you think that he should be sad or not? And also, I wanted to ask you about Vola. How has Vola changed? And for people who haven't read Pax, then how would you describe Vola anyway? And why do you think that Peter's like not mean, but not nice, right? I also wanted to ask you about Runt. How would you describe Runt? And also, there was now the kids. What did you think about that? Okay, now for Peter's grandfather. How would you describe Peter's grandfather? And we learn that Peter's father dies, right? Yeah, Peter's father is dead. And okay, how do you think that Peter felt? Well, of course, he's obviously sad, but also the ashes, this is really sad. Guys, this is really, really sad. I almost get emotional when I read this. But anyway, what I wanted to ask you was about, was the Water Warriors. If you had been Peter, would you have joined it? And Peter just wants to go away, be free, want to go home. If you had been Peter, would you have just stayed with the Vola, or would you have really gone out? And also, I wanted to ask you about all of the kids, right? So it sort of describes all of them. What's your favorite kid? And about the little Vixen, right? She's really adventurous. Are you adventurous or are you not adventurous? And also, how many of you do you like the Vixen? And well, of course I do, but I also wanted to ask you about the Vixen. So do you think that this adventuring, do you think that it will one day lead her to trouble? Okay, what did you think about Peter's cabin, right? And also, Peter doesn't want the land. If you had been Peter, would you have wanted to land or not? And why do you think that Peter wants to go? He's in a perfectly good spot, right? And also, Peter says, "You're not my mother." Vola, she sort of flinches. And Peter and Vola, it's sort of going apart, right? How did you like about this? And you should have read the first book, okay, Pax? Okay. But anyway, now I wanted to ask you about the owl, right? So the Vixen is out, the owl comes. When the owl picked the Vixen up, were you scared, or were you like, oh, of course Pax is gonna save the Vixen. There's no need to worry. And after this, the Vixen gets a little skittish, right? Do you think that this is good that the Vixen is now skittish, or do you think that it sort of ruins it? But still, it's not like the Vixen is totally afraid, right? It's not like the Vixen is a scaredy cat. But still. Now, I also wanted to ask you about something else. And it was about Peter, okay? And about Ben. So, his sister, right? Ben's sister was named Echo because Peter thought that she was a little fainter than Ben. What did you think about this? And what do you think about Ben's sister? And what do you think about Ben, okay? And how do you think that Ben felt when he learned that Peter was going to the Junior Water Warriors? And do you think that Peter is sort of ruining everything with his friends and family because of the Water Warriors and going? And also, I also wanted to ask you about the Water Warriors, right, and Vola. And what I wanted to ask you about is this water problem. And what did you think about all this? Were you a little sad about this? And also, I also wanted to ask you about Peter, right? And Peter really wants to join the Water Warriors. He wants to go. But what I wanted to ask you was the Water Warriors are doing something good, right? And if you had been Peter, would you have joined them because you wanted to help the water or because you wanted to go away, or both? And now, so they go to the reservoir, but there is fire, right? So what I wanted to ask you about that was, how do you think that the kids felt when they could drink, and also how do you think that Pax felt when he saw the fire and all that? What did you think? And yeah, how do you think he felt? And we're gonna come to Peter again. Peter, he says that his grandfather isn't gonna come, right? And but Vola is sure that Peter's grandfather is gonna come. Who do you agree with? And do you think that Vola's making too much food, and that it would just be bad because soon enough that Peter's grandfather won't even come? And also, just then, Peter's grandfather comes, right? Were you surprised about that? And also, why do you think that his grandfather came when other times he wasn't really like nice to Peter? Okay, sorry. If you did not read Pax, then this is a big spoiler, but sorry, okay. Please read Pax. So, do you agree with Peter's grandfather that the Water Warriors are just a bunch of do-gooders? And also, Vola makes a point, right? I'm gonna read this, okay? It's on page 55 and 56 on your on my copy, but it might be different for you, okay? So here's it. But Vola, okay, I'm sorry. Here, okay. But Vola wasn't finished. Now think of it. I throw this picture against the wall. That is a lot of power I show. But anyone can break something. The power I respect is in the making. She set the picture down. She turned to Peter and lifted her glass. And maybe most of all, I respect anyone who chooses to rebuild something. Do you agree with Vola? And I wanted to ask you, have you ever done something like this? I was just very curious, and if you had to remember a few things on this book, this is not like the most important part, but if you had to remember some good things about this book, then remember that paragraph, okay? And if you can't find it on the pages I just said, I'll just say that it's in chapter 10, okay? When Peter's grandfather comes, you're gonna have to look for it though, if your pages aren't the same as mine. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you got this copy, okay? So if you haven't gotten this copy, then I'm sorry about that. Okay, so on chapter 11, we go back to Pax. The Pax went, right? Where do you think that Pax went? Or is going? And also, what do you think about Pax history, right? So the history of this Pax is actually the book Pax. So you sort of get what this is all about. So if you are a little confused, then here's the history of Pax, okay? And also, then Pax smells fire. What did you think about that? Did you think that was a little scary? And also, I also wanted to ask you about those memories. Do you think that when he thought of these memories, he felt sad, or he felt good, or he felt just, I don't know, numb, or just neutral feelings? Okay, finally, I wanted to ask, okay, so these chapters, let me just tell you, this is just the beginning. The chapters get much, much more exciting. It's sort of like, the beginning is pretty good, right? It's awesome, it's pretty good. We get to learn the characters, and everything, right? So it's awesome, but the rest of it, and like the going up to the climax, or like the most highest or most exciting part, right? So after this, I'm pretty sure that you're gonna get much more excited, okay? Next, you should read all the way to chapter 22, okay guys? Okay, so I wanted to ask you, what was your favorite part? And how did you like this book? Who was your favorite character? And who was your least favorite character? And also, I mean, because Peter in Pax, okay, so this is sort of a spoiler. So if you haven't read this book, the Pax book, then you can just skip about, I don't know, 5 seconds, okay? So here I'm going to do it, skip 5 seconds if you haven't read the book. My least favorite character was Peter. Okay, so if you want, for the people who haven't read this book, I will just leave that out. But if you are curious why, then I'll tell you later, okay? And then after I say, after I say bye, then for people who want to stick around, then I can just tell you why I don't like Peter. But I mean, Peter's a great character, but still, okay? Okay, I'll stop babbling now. So the last one is, what do you predict is gonna happen? Anyway, I hope that you had a great time with me and Pax Journey Home by Sarah Pennypacker. Yes, this author is an amazing author. Pax and Pax Journey Home are both amazing books. And also, I am going to say some of the books she's made. Okay, it's not that I'm gonna do book clubs about them. I might, but still, I just wanted to tell you what she's made. Okay, is this Here in the Real World, Summer of the Gypsy Moths, the Clementine series, I love that series, The Amazing World of Stuart, Stuart's Cape, and Stuart Goes to School, Dumbstruck, and then there's some picture books like, there's also Pax, right? And then the picture books, there's some picture books like Meet the Dullards, Sparrow Girl, and Pure in Love. But anyway, I hope that you had a great time with me and Pax Journey Home by Sarah Pennypacker, an amazing author, okay guys? But